So there you have it. The brand new college football playoff rankings. I don't know about y'all. That's the most college basketball I'm going to watch until March Madness. No knocking college basketball, but we're a college football show. Rankings are very interesting now. Couple of moves I wasn't sure the committee was going to make, but I actually applaud them for making them. We'll unpack it all right now. Before we do that, make sure you're subscribed. Hey, if you're a college football sicko, welcome home. We're talking college football year-round. The portal already starting to buzz a little bit. Doesn't open until January. The coaching carousel is spinning. We talk college football year-round because it's freaking awesome. Greatest sport on the face of planet Earth. So if that's the way that you get down, that's the way that we get down. Make sure you're subscribed. Appreciate y'all in advance for that. So I want to start talking about these rankings at the number 16 spot, right? Because Georgia Tech is sitting there at 16, but they're not listed is the top ACC team as it stands right now. That's Miami sitting there at 13. But if you're Georgia Tech, I understand how frustrating it is to see that Miami logo ahead of you, and you're like, what in the world? We got one loss. We control our destiny in the ACC. Why is Miami getting all this love with 2 losses? I understand that. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Woosah, just handle business. Win the ACC, you will be in the college football playoff. No more discussion about it. So that's just a little quick mini therapy session. I understand how frustrating it is because of all that you've done this year. Just handle business. 16, doesn't matter. Just win your conference. You're in there like swimwear. At number 15, you got Oregon. All right? Not Oregon. USC, excuse me. USC, you play Oregon this weekend. That's how you should be thinking. You should have Oregon top of mind if you're USC, just like me when it comes to that ranking. Jumping up as many spots as you did all the way to 15 from last week's rankings to this week's rankings after the dub over Iowa, it's on, man. This is what you hoped for, wished for, prayed for in the preseason, was a spot going into the last couple weeks of the season at a college football playoff berth. You being at 15 this week screams to me, if you beat Oregon, set yourself up with a chance to go beat UCLA for that Liberty Bell, and you are chilling in that field of 12. Maybe not chilling, maybe sweating a little bit on Selection Sunday, but I think you're in the college football playoff should you beat Oregon. That's what you being at 15 says to me. Now at 14, Vandy, we turn. I love you. We're in Nashville. I don't know if you have a chance to jump into that top 12 if this whole field were to hold as is. I don't think you have enough meat on the bone to jump anybody, but Vandy at 14, no problem with it. Now Miami at 13, this is where it gets interesting. So like we already established, Miami's ranked 13th per the committee, but the way this whole discussion works, they're the highest-ranked ACC team, so they're ahead of the highest-ranked G5 team, who's at the 12th seed, so you're seeded 11th, Miami, if you're tracking all that. Pretty nice to have head-to-head over Notre Dame right now. Nice little feather in the cap if you're the Hurricanes. I'm sitting here watching Miami get listed off higher and higher each week in this Rankings Reveal show. And at first I was like, oh, that's good for Miami. It probably feels good a little bit in Coral Gables to get some respect from the committee, be ranked at a decent spot. And they keep climbing every week. And I'm like, hang on. Are the Canes going to do this? Is Miami about to get in the college football playoff as an at-large bid? And hear me clearly. If they got into that field of 12, I think the Canes could win a game or two. Don't let the Canes get in the dance is all I'm going to say when it comes to that. Now, Miami, you probably need a little bit of help. Not probably. You definitely need a little bit of help to get into the ACC title game. I think your path in would be as an at-large bid. So, again, I still think that you probably need a little bit of help to find your way into the college football playoff. But, I mean, if I'm asking for some chaos in November, I think I'm about to get it if I'm a Hurricane fan. So, seeded 11th. Ranked 11th is BYU. Ranked 12th is Utah. We will address those specific teams when they become more relevant to this college football playoff conversation. I think that could be the case here in future weeks, especially if BYU finds their way into the Big 12 title game and wins it. But just shout out to the 2 teams in Utah. Handle business. BYU, will see where you're at. Now, Alabama at 10. Bama, I know it's scary to see that number 10 next to your logo. I get it. Me personally, I'm scared of heights, and I am man enough to admit it. I went to the Grand Canyon as a kid, cried the whole time. Not a fan of heights. Specifically, because you look over the edge, long way down. You walk right up to that sucker, and you're not over the edge, but it's still scary to look over and see your fate. Bama, I know you're at the edge right now. I know it's scary. Beat Auburn, you're in good shape. That's all I'm going to say. Beat Auburn. Ty Simpson, go back to robot mode. Kalen DeBoer, go back to mad scientist mode. Jeremy Bernard, go back to Blitnikoff mode. We're going to be more than fine. So I know it's scary. I know it feels uncomfortable. But even if Bama finds their way to the SEC championship game and loses, gets a third loss to insert whatever team you want there, A&M, Georgia, like lose a game in the SEC title game, you're still in the college football playoff. I feel extremely confident saying that out loud. So 10, I know it feels bad, but you're still in the dance. Get us in the dance. We'll cause some problems when we get there, is my opinion if I'm Kalen DeBoer and the boys. Now, number 9, I wasn't sure the committee would do this, okay? Number 9 is Notre Dame. And the way that it feels here, seeing you pop up at 9 after beating a top 25 team by 22 points, to me, this is the committee saying, hey, Notre Dame, this is kind of where we got to keep you, unless we get some more chaos in front of you. All right, Oklahoma jumped them up to 8, which we'll talk about here in a second. But the reason why that's significant, if you're Notre Dame, the 9th spot doesn't host a college football playoff game. So all the good vibes about the South Bend Invitational and all the things that we were saying in the preseason, you're happy to be in the college football playoff. There's no shame in being number 9. And also after that first round, it doesn't matter where they play the games anyway. But I think barring some extra chaos in front of them, Notre Dame, that's kind of your spot, is I think what the committee is saying there. You were 9 last week, you're 9 this week. You don't apologize for being in the college football playoff, but that's kind of the ceiling here for Notre Dame at this point in time. Now, Oklahoma, the committee is saying, we see you, John Mateer. We see you, Brent Venables. We see you going into Tuscaloosa, creating 3 turnovers, finding a way, scratching, clawing, beating a top 4 at the time, Alabama. We're going to give you credit for that. This is the committee, and I appreciate them doing this. This is the committee not just going off of standings, but going off of, no, we think that's a good football team. We see them playing good football. Their starting quarterback had some issues with his thumb early on in the year, middle part of the year, rather. We're going to go ahead and just say we think Oklahoma's a good football team. And people can cry about, SEC bias and what have you. Listen, if we're talking about bias and Notre Dame's getting jumped, I am as pro Notre Dame as there is. Nobody is showing bias against that brand and that logo. If anything, it helps the College Football Playoff Committee to have Notre Dame in the dance. So I think there's no issues here with Oklahoma being at 8. And also, if you do have an issue with Oklahoma at 8, if you're a Notre Dame fan, guess what? You're going to get to play them in round 1 as it stands right now. So Oklahoma at 8, I see you. I appreciate the committee just saying we think you're a good football team. We're going to reward that. And, yeah, no problems with that, with Oklahoma being at 8. Now, I probably wouldn't have dropped Notre Dame after their win, but I get what the committee is saying, and I appreciate them rewarding good football. Oregon at 7, they were talking about, they being them on the broadcast, Reese Davis, Greg McElroy, Joey Galloway, do a phenomenal job, by the way. They were saying if Oregon loses one of these last 2, they don't know if they're in the college football playoff. I don't feel that way, barring a Michigan jumping up in there, or I guess you could have a conversation about Miami. I'd be shocked if we saw Oregon drop out of this top 10 with a loss to a top 15 USC, or if they beat a top 15 USC even and they lose to an unranked Washington. I still think that at that point, Oregon would have enough feathers in the cap to be in at 10-2. That's my own opinion. But we'll see. The precedent in some ways has been set with Alabama dropping as far as they did after losing to 2 points at home, or by 2 points at home to an Oklahoma team. So keep a pulse on Oregon, but again, I still think 10-2 gets you in. Ole Miss at 6. I'm really curious to see if Ole Miss can just stay the course here. Mississippi State's a good football team. I don't even question if Ole Miss get into college football playoff. I think that's pretty much a team you can write in Sharpie into the bracket, whatever rank you want to put next to them, more power to you. 6 is the right spot, but how do you handle the Lane Kiffin noise at this point in time? Because everyone has Twitter. Outside that locker room, inside that locker room, everyone watches McAfee. Everyone knows what the conversation is right now around Oxford. And it's not that Ole Miss is a college football playoff team. It's not that, wow, they're going to go ahead and make a run. Wow, look at this great year Ole Miss is having. The conversation right now is is Lane Kiffin going to be there next year? Going into this week, it was is Lane Kiffin going to be there going to the college football playoff? It sounds like there is a deadline in place. Now, I understand Lane Kiffin since come out and said that's not the case. I think Ole Miss will get a decision sooner rather than later. How does Ole Miss handle all that noise? Texas Tech at 5. Hey, if Texas Tech keeps that 5 spot, guess who they draw in the first round? A 1-2 Tulane in the G5 spot. We'll circle back on Tulane here in a second. But Texas Tech at 5, no conversation to be had there. They've looked the part. They are the part. And to me, I think even if they lose in the Big 12 title game, they may be entitled to a college football playoff spot. As in that large bid, that's how good they've been, especially if they only have 1 loss in the regular season. Georgia at 4. Y'all, I know A&M's at 3. I think Georgia might be playing the best of any SEC team right now. And now, I'm not saying Georgia shouldn't be ranked at 4 or that they should be ranked higher or anything like that, but I'm just saying the brand of ball they're playing right now, the momentum they have, the way the offense looks, the physicality of the run game, the defense kind of getting their footing, The way that Georgia's humming right now, I would not want to play them. So I know there's a bunch of just quadratic equations and different calculators you got to use to figure out the SEC tiebreakers. If Georgia gets to the SEC title game, if Georgia gets in the college football playoff, looking how they look right now, I would just, hey, hang on. Hang on for dear life is all I'd say there. A&M at 3, no conversation to be had there. You can't move them up after they looked the way they looked in the first half against South Carolina. But you do raise the eyebrow looking at how good they looked in the second half against South Carolina and say, okay, it's a team with some juice. We already knew that before. That's verified. A&M at 3, Indiana at 2, Ohio State at 1. If you're Ohio State, like, people are going to say, you haven't played anybody, you haven't done this, you haven't done that. It's like, dude, they've looked like they're the best team in college football. And that's what I respect the committee for. Other things favor Indiana and A&M, putting them at the top. The committee is saying, you're playing good football. We're watching you play good football. We recognize it's good football. We're going to reward good football. We'll put you as the number 1 team in college football on these latest rankings, and we fully support that on this show. Now, I want to give a quick shout-out to our man, Caden Smith. You might know him as Cato. He said on this show during this week, he was like, listen, the committee sometimes, when it comes to that G5 spot, look at records. And they see a team in JMU that's got less losses, but maybe hasn't looked as good playing the sport of football as some other teams. I wonder what they do with that spot. And Cato actually lobbied for a 1-2 lane to be in the G5 spot. Well, I'm going to tell you a little secret here. I think the committee watches this show. God bless them. They want a little insider baseball, and we appreciate them for it. Tulane at the G5 spot. All right, so we support that. We co-signed that. Cato called that from the rafters. Tulane in the G5 spot. Going to be seeded 12th, and they would, of course, play a Texas Tech. So let's check in on what these matchups would look like here as I shift over to my computer for a quick second to get a look at that. All right, round 1, like I said, if you hate where Oklahoma is, if you're a Notre Dame fan and you think that was messed up, that was SEC bias, guess what? You get to go play them in Norman to prove a point if things should hold as they do right now. Oregon playing Alabama in Eugene. I just keep saying this. I would love so much for the sports world to get to see a college football playoff atmosphere in Autzen. I think it would be cinematic. I think it would be kismet. I think it would be a glorious thing. I think it would solve a lot of the problems in our world. I'll leave it at that. Ole Miss and Miami in the Portal Bowl, if you will. If Miami gets in as that large spot, that would be just absolutely phenomenal. Then Texas Tech and Tulane, that in itself will be a fun game to watch. I think Tulane's frisky. I think that they would give an inspired effort, if nothing else, but Texas Tech might just be a wagon here. And then those teams that all have to bye according to this current projected bracket, I think that is about how it should look. So in the comment section, let me know what you agree with, what you disagree with. Do you think Notre Dame staying at 9 was the right move? Should they have been jumped by Oklahoma? All that. Let me know your thoughts and your complaints in the comment section. This is a lot of fun, man. We're moving into the part of the year where the conversation ramps up, the toxicity gets dialed up. We're here for it. We're here for all of the smoke and then some. Appreciate y'all watching the show, making it what it is. For Cato on the 1s, the 2s, and the G5, and just college football takes in general, we love y'all. We're going to keep this party rolling. We will see y'all next time.